Shalom, family. Most High in Christ bless. Good to see everybody. We here for another Monday night meditations. I picked up a precept from the deacon yesterday. I want you to read it for me. The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 97. It's a fire precept, especially for Monday night meditations. Y'all been meditating? A little bit. Y'all get y'all 4 chapters in today? Send your prayers up 3 times a day? All praises. In the spirit. In the spirit. Read what you got.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 97. Oh, how I love thy law. It is my meditation all the day.
It is thy what?
It is my meditation all the day.
It got to be your meditation all day long. All right? You can't read 4 chapters all day. All right? But in between times, on your break, all right? In between speaking with brothers throughout the day, in between doing your work, some of your work, sometimes it occupies your mind, so you're not able to give your mind wholly to the law. But find time to do that throughout the day. Find time to meditate. Find time to just think about the scripture that you read last night. Think about the scripture that you read this morning. Think about what it means, a deeper understanding. Where else it said it in the Bible, precept upon precept, line upon line. All right, that's how you get a good understanding of what is written in your book. Y'all know this our book, right? All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. From there, let's get the book of Sirach, chapter 37. Y'all know we living in the last days, right?
Yes, sir.
There's bombs being dropped. All right. You got the president of the United States saying his button work. Right? You got ballistic missiles that this world has never seen before being tested on countries inhabited by people. That means people is dying. Thousands, tens of thousands of people is dying. All right, as countries flex their nuclear weapons. This is how the world is going to come to an end. So, with that being said, read what you got.
What verse, sir?
I want verse 27.
The book of Sirach, chapter 37 and verse 27. My son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it.
So the Bible says, prove your soul in your life. All right, so we should all be proving our souls in this life that we're living. So you got to know, all right, what things offend you. You got to know that. And some things that offend you, nobody knows but you. Read on.
And give not that unto it.
And when you find out what offends you, all right, you have to be sure and make provisions and be diligent to not let, read it again, that last part.
And give not that unto it.
You can't let it come near to you. Can't let it get too close to you. You can't stumble across it. You got to make provisions to avoid it. All right? That's what you have to do. You got to make provisions to avoid what offends you. All right? I'll give you an example. It's some websites I just don't go to. And I ain't even talking about explicit websites. It's other websites that I just don't go to because I know myself and I know where it will lead. You understand? Regardless of what entertainment or news or what have you may be on that page, I'm not going to go to it because I know myself and I know myself for a long time. And I've seen a pattern within myself. And I say, nah, I'm not going to do that because I know where that will go. So this is something that you all have to do. It's not the same for all of us. That's why the scripture says, read it again from the top.
My son, prove thy soul in thy life.
You got to prove your soul in your life. All right? You got to be proving your soul constantly. I can't do that for you. You can't do that for me. I got to do that for me if I want to protect my soul. And you got to do the same thing for yourself if you're going to protect yours. All right? Drop that. Ephesians chapter 5. There's a lot going on in the body. I just want to hit this real quick before we jump into it. All right. Ephesians chapter 5. I want verse 25.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 25.
We're going to read down to 27.
Yes, sir. Husbands, love your wives.
The Bible says, all right, as a husband, you must love your wife. Read on.
Even as Christ also loved the church.
Just like Christ loved the church. Read on.
And gave himself for it.
He gave himself for us. Read on.
That he might sanctify and cleanse it.
That he might do what?
Sanctify and cleanse it.
That he might sanctify and cleanse it. All right. And I'm talking to married brothers right now. Married brothers. Married brothers. Married brothers. You have to cleanse your wife. You got to cleanse her. Who knows what you need to use to cleanse your wife? Who knows? What you use, Luke? Yes, that's right. You use the scriptures.
Right.
All right, that's what you use to cleanse your wife. And that's our duty. That's all of our duty. As a married man, we must cleanse our wife with the scriptures. It's not all right to avoid your wife. I'm not just saying this because I'm just making it up. You understand what I'm saying? It's not all right to avoid your wife. It's not all right to lust after other women when you're married. That's not all right. Even though you're not physically with another woman, it's not all right to lust after another woman when you're married. And brothers tend to do this when they're not cleansing their wife. That's when brothers tend to do that for one reason or another. No one wants to be around anything that they don't like. No one wants to be around things that they don't like. So you know what you have to do? If you don't like your wife, then you need to cleanse her and make her into what you like.
Bring it out.
That's how that goes. You got to cleanse her and make her into what you like. And sisters, you got to be able to conform yourself to that, whatever that is for that man. All right? Lawfully, in the Lord. You need to be willing to do that. And if you're not, all right, then your marriage is doomed. Be honest with you. It's doomed until you can change your mind. All right? Y'all have to work together to fix your marriage. And then you know what happens? The brother starts to get attention from other women. That's what happens. The brother starts to get attention from other women. All right? All because you don't want to become who he wants you to be.
Right.
He wants you to be that for him. But you're not willing to become that. And then other women start to entertain him. That's not a good place to have any man. All right? We gotta change that. We gotta do better. Job chapter 31 for the brothers. Job chapter 31, verse 1.
The book of Job, chapter 31 and verse 1.
Do we got a mic out there in the audience? We do? All right. Read what you got.
I made a covenant with mine eyes.
So Job said that he made a covenant with his eyes. Read on.
Why then should I think upon a maid?
Right. So he said, why then would I even think about another woman? If you're not looking at a woman, brothers, are you going to think about her? Nah, if you ain't looking, if you're looking at a woman constantly, what's going to happen in your mind? You're going to start thinking about her, right? So let me ask you this. What happens between the time when you think about a woman and you actually physically commit and act with her? What has to happen in between that? Joel has his hand up. The young men. Y'all know what second nurture say. What you got?
Can you say the question again?
All right. What has to happen between the time when a man thinks about a woman that he saw and the time when he physically commits some act with her? What has to happen in between those?
Homosexual?
Homosexual? Nah, that's not what I'm looking for. I got a brother right here with a hand up. He's a young man, so I don't expect him to have the right answer. I'm glad you ain't had the right answer.
Shalom, sir.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. You have to plan something.
You have to plan something. Okay. What happens from the time because that happens in your mind.
Yes, sir.
Right? So what happens from the time you plan something, from the time you physically commit adultery? What happens? You said planning. Okay, what's next? Between planning and adultery, what's next? You don't know?
You have to actually you make plans, and you have to see your wife, and you have to
sit down, brother. Sit down. Try another brother. Yes.
I'm gonna say
What's your name?
Brother Lamech.
Brother Lamech. What happens from the time you plan, you see something you like, you thinking about it, you might plan something out, and the time you commit the act? What happens?
You denying Christ. You're actually you're in the act of sin, lust. You're denying Christ and you're denying the word.
We skipping a step though. Y'all going deep. Something has to happen. You think about something, right? It's in you see something you like, you think about it, you make a plan like the brother said, all right? Something happens, right? Something has to happen in order for you to end up committing adultery or fornication. There's a major step there that happens. I'm sure you take this step.
Hello, sir. The opportunity is presented to you, and then you actually act upon that opportunity.
How?
By disregarding what the commandments say and going after your own lust.
Okay, what does that look like?
Like, you see a sister, you lust after the sister, you make plans with the sister, and then you have opportunities in order to not do it, but you say, nah, I know that I'm not supposed to lust after the sister. I know that I'm not supposed to be meeting up with the sister, and then you go out of your own way in order to
So do you just meet up with a sister?
No, sir. You make provisions.
After you make provisions, do you just meet? What's the provisions look like?
So, like, you get a hotel room, or you say, hey, we're going to meet up at this location.
You say what?
Time. You get a hotel room.
And then you say what?
You say, hey, we're going to meet up at this location at this time.
Communication has to happen.
Yes, sir.
That has to happen. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You telling me you married, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you telling me that you're going to end up in the midst of adultery or in the midst of marriage without communicating?
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
Yes, sir.
All right. So the step that I was looking for was just communication. Y'all brothers going deep. Deep. You deny Christ, and you got to pick up your cross. You got to fight. You put your cross down. You right, but communication is what we're looking for, right? All right. That's a basic step that is always violated. Because you know what you do? You send a DM. You in the inbox, right? You send a DM. Y'all looking at me like I'm strange or something.
You right on.
Y'all don't know what I'm talking about? You send a DM, right? And you in the inbox. Y'all exchange phone numbers. You on the phone. All of that happens, right? Read the scripture again. Let's reset.
Job chapter 31 and verse 1.
Come on.
I made a covenant with mine eyes. Why then should I think upon a maid?
So the scriptures say, why then would I think upon a maid? Job said he made a covenant with his eyes. If he made a covenant with his eyes and he said, okay, I'm not going to look at a maid. I'm not even going to think about a maid. Do y'all think he's going to talk to a maid? Right, because he cut those provisions off, right? He cut those provisions off. Now, the reason I was going here, I didn't think it was going to take this long. I'm sorry it dragged out so far, all right? But some brothers, all you got to do is talk to a sister. That's it. Y'all know what I mean by that? You don't need a car. You don't need a place to stay. You don't need the best anything, really. You don't need any of that. You don't need those material things. All you need is a conversation. That's it. Oh! That's all you need. All you need is a conversation. Y'all know brothers like that? That's all you need. You don't need the flyers, gear. You don't need none of that. You don't need money. You don't need none of that. All you need is a conversation. And you in there. All right? So what do you need to do? You don't need to speak to a woman. You don't need to speak to one. Because you know if you speak to the woman, all right, you're going to entertain the conversation. You're going to be able to talk the sister into doing whatever you want her to do. Straight up. All right? So you got to be mindful of that. All right? Remember what we read earlier. Know what's evil for you and don't give yourself to it. All right? You don't need to have a response. You don't need to ask every sister how her day went. You understand? You don't need to do that. Even if she asks you, good, thank you. You understand? Keep it moving. Oh, how was your my weekend was great. You know, what did you do this weekend? You know, if some brothers, if you do that, it's gonna go somewhere else. Y'all know, sisters, y'all know what I'm talking about? Yes, you do know. I know you know. All right. All right, let's get into it. Give me James chapter 3. We're gonna be in James for a minute. We're gonna jump around. We're gonna be in James chapter 3. All right, try to get through it. Bring it out. James chapter 3, let's start at verse 1.
The book of James, chapter 3 and verse 1. My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation.
All right, read it again.
My brethren, be not many masters.
Be not many masters. Read on.
Knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation.
Knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. All right. How are we going to receive the greater condemnation for being a master? Y'all know what a master is? I pulled it up on the what do you call it? The concordance. Can you zoom in? This is where this word master comes from. That's a Greek word, didaskalos or something like that. All right. So a master means an instructor, generally or specifically, a doctor, a master, a teacher. So he's like an expert. All right. Definition number 2 in the New Testament: one who teaches concerning things of God and the duties of man. One who is fitted to teach or thinks himself so. All right. Look at definition number C. It says, of those who by their great power as teachers draw crowds around them. That's what a master is. A master is able to do that. You understand? Because he's endowed with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Right? But guess what comes with that? A greater condemnation. Read James 3 again.
James chapter 3 and verse 1. My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation.
Knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. Go to James chapter 4, verse 17. Same book. Just jump over to chapter 4.
Yes, sir. James chapter 4 and verse 17.
Come on.
Therefore to him that knoweth to do good.
So to him that knoweth to do good, come on.
And doeth it not.
And then you don't do it, so you know what's right. And then you choose the evil. Right? Read on.
To him it is sin.
To himself it is sin. It's sin for you. It's not sin for me. It's sin for you. You're the one that knows right from wrong. All right? You're the expert. You're the master. Right? You know these things. So it's sin for you to not follow what you know. All right? And this is how you receive what? The greater condemnation. You condemn yourself. You condemn yourself when you choose not to obey the laws of God that you have knowledge of, wisdom, and understanding. You condemn yourself. All right, back to where we were. James chapter 3, verse 1, read down to 2.
James chapter 3, want me to start at verse 1?
And verse 1, yep.
James chapter 3 and verse 1. My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation.
One more. Go to 1 John chapter 4. Chapter 3.
Yes, sir.
Verse 17.
1 John chapter 3 and verse 17. But whoso have this world's good, and seeth his brother have need, and shutteth up his bowels of compassion for him.
From him.
How dwelleth the love of God in him?
How dwelleth the love of God in him? So here it is. You got a brother that's in need. He's lacking resources, right? He may need clothes. He may need food. He may need encouragement, right? He may need exhortation. He may need correction. He may need all of these things. Read on.
Verse 18. My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth.
But all you got for him is, hey, bro, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. Right? You know that he needs some correction. You know that there's guidance that's needed, and you're too busy. You don't provide it. Right? You tell him, hey, you're going to be all right. Send some prayers up. Shalom, Most High in Christ bless. You tell him peace, be filled. That's what that means. Peace, right? You shall receive the greater condemnation, right? Read verse 17 again.
Verse 17. But whoso have this world's good, and seeth his brother have need, and shutteth up his bowels of compassion from him.
Read on.
How dwelleth the love of God in him?
Is the love of God in that man?
No, sir.
No. Right? Jump down to verse 19.
Verse 19. And hereby we know that we are of the truth, and shall assure our hearts before him.
All right, you can drop that. Go back to where we were. James chapter 3.
Yes, sir. James chapter 3 and verse 1.
Come on.
My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation.
We shall. That's not a suggestion. It's telling you what's going to happen. All right, read on.
For in many things we offend all.
For in many things we offend all. Right? The offenses are going to come. You offend a brother when you lie. You offend a brother when you steal. You offend a brother, all right, when you don't consider yourself. All right? When you don't consider yourself, when you're not thinking about the needs of others, you're only thinking about yourself. Right? That's offensive. All right? The scriptures tell us to do the opposite of that. So that can be offensive. So it's many things that we offend in. All right? Read on.
If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and is able also to bridle the whole body.
So if any man offend not in word, he's able to do what?
Bridle the whole body.
He's able to control his whole body. He's able to control his whole body. That's some heavy stuff right there. All right? Go to Sirach chapter 28. We're going to read about the tongue a little bit. Because you need your tongue to speak, right? Start at verse 8.
The book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 28 and verse 8. Abstain from strife, and thou shalt diminish thy sins. For a furious man will kindle strife.
So the scriptures say abstain from strife. Does that mean run into it? Abstain from strife, does that mean run into the strife? No, it means to do what? It means to avoid it. To avoid it, right? Read it again.
Abstain from strife, and thou shalt diminish thy sins.
And thou shalt diminish thy sins. All right? Some brothers, every time you come around, it's an argument. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Some sisters like that too. All right. Every time you come around, it's an argument. That's not peace. That's not peaceable fruit. All right. Read on.
For a furious man will kindle strife. Verse 9. A sinful man disquieted friends.
Jump down to verse 12.
Verse 12 in Sirach chapter 28. If thou blow the spark, it shall burn.
If thou blow the spark, it shall burn. It shall burn. Read on.
If thou spit upon it, it shall be quenched.
If you spit upon the spark, it shall be quenched. Y'all know it's real hard to spit without using your tongue. Did y'all know that? It's hard to do that. It's hard to spit without using your tongue. Very difficult to do that. That's a part of your mouth. A little part of it, right? From there, go to Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21.
The book of Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
Y'all heard this before. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. So the tongue has a lot of power. It has the power of death, and it has the power of life. The little tongue that's inside your mouth, it has the power of death, and it has the power of life. Read on.
And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
And they that love what? They that love what? And they that love death, or they that love life? That's what you're going to eat. If you love death, then you're going to eat the fruit of it. And it's going to come from your tongue. If you love life, then you're going to eat the fruit of it. And it's going to come from what? It's going to come from your tongue. All right? Let me show you an example. Pull up that news article. This was in Virginia, y'all. Scroll down. Botched pizza order leads to violent stabbing in Virginia. Who knows what a botched pizza order is? Brother right there. What is a botched? That's not a Negro word.
A botch means an incorrect order.
That's what that means. An incorrect order. You know how you order something and you like no pickles? And then they put the pickles on it and you mad because you bit the sandwich and you're not at the drive-thru no more. You like about to pull out of the drive-thru and you upset because you told them no pickles. You saw it pop up on the screen and everything, and they still put pickles on the sandwich. That's what you call a botched order right there. They just messed the order up. All right, can you read that? Can you see it? All right, I'll read it. Can you make it bigger? Yeah, scroll down. All right, it says a routine day at a Norfolk pizza restaurant turned into a nightmare after an argument over a food order ended in a stabbing that sent a young employee to the hospital. How many of y'all from Norfolk? Ain't got no Norfolk people in here? Norfolk. Whole bunch of different words to say.
Hell no.
Nobody from Norfolk. All right. Authorities have charged a couple with serious crimes following the violent altercation. Y'all see it say a couple, right? Leaving the community stunned by the brutal escalation. Scroll down or scroll up. Norfolk police responded to a mod. Is that how you say it? MOD? Mod pizza location at Premium Outlets Boulevard this weekend after reports of a stabbing. When officers arrived, they found a 24-year-old employee suffering from multiple abdominal wounds, with his injuries described as severe but not life-threatening. The man was rushed to the hospital where doctors treated the horrifying injuries. They say it won't life-threatening, though, which reportedly included exposed intestines. So you had his intestines hanging out of him, and they say it wasn't that severe. Not life-threatening. That's what they say. It wasn't life-threatening. All right.
Stop the cap.
That's what they say. All right. Scroll up. Let's see how this happened. The incident began with a dispute over a botched order. According to court documents, Catherine Harper, 45, was allegedly dissatisfied with her order and called her husband, Corey Harper, to intervene. Upon arriving, Corey Harper is accused of repeatedly stabbing the employee, leaving him gravely injured before fleeing the scene with his wife. Stupid. This brother's simp, right? This brother is a simp, right? Come on now. Read that scripture again, Proverbs chapter 18.
Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21.
Come on.
Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
Death and life are in the power of the tongue, right? The sister, who knows what she said to her husband? You can only imagine what she said to her husband to stir some stuff up. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. Read on.
And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
And now her husband's going to be behind bars for a long time. And she may be behind some other bars in a whole nother place. Who going to watch their children? Who going to deal with their children? Over a botched order. A botched order. An order gone wrong. We got to do better than that. All right? From there, let's go back to Sirach chapter 28. I want verse 8.
Yes, sir. The book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 28 and verse 8.
Come on.
Abstain from strife, and thou shalt diminish thy sins.
Read on.
For a furious man will kindle strife.
That's what we just saw, right? From a woman. Read on.
A sinful man disquieteth friends, and maketh debate among them that be at peace.
So a sinful man disquieteth friends, and maketh debate among them that be at peace. You know what another name for that is? An instigator. What else? A provoker. That's very good. What else? Think about friends that's at peace, right? Not necessarily what we just saw. That was good. Instigator goes very well with that, right? But just in general, imagine friends at peace, right? You got Exhibit A, Exhibit B, at peace. Exhibit C comes, and now it's some strife there between A and B, and D, who won't even there. What's that called? Murmuring. Murmuring. Read it again.
A sinful man disquieteth friends.
A sinful man is going to disquiet friends. That means that friends was quiet. They was at peace. It was no problems. It was no strife. It was no anger. None of that was going on. Read on.
And maketh debate among them that be at peace.
But now when this other person came along, it's issues. It's problems. Right? It's doubt. Right? Now you doubting things. Now you're not as confident, in a brother or a sister as you were because of what was said by someone else. Right? So that's going into murmuring. Read on.
Verse 10. As the matter of the fire is, so it burneth. And as a man's strength is, so is his wrath.
All right, let's go to Proverbs chapter 26. Verse 22.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 26 and verse 22. The words of a talebearer are as wounds.
Now, talebearer is another word for a murmurer. They say the words of a talebearer are as what?
Are as wounds.
That means when somebody comes to you to murmur or to be a talebearer, they're coming for your soul. They're coming to hurt you. They're coming to harm you. They may not even know that in the moment. They don't think that they are doing anyone any harm, right? But in reality, all right, wounds hurt. And sometimes wounds get what? Infected. Sometimes wounds get infected. That's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with a talebearer or a murmurer. Read on.
And they go down into the innermost parts of the belly.
They go down to that means it cuts you deep down inside. It hurt real bad. How you deal with that? Go to the chapter before, chapter 25, verse 23.
Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 23. The north wind driveth away rain.
So just like you have wind that comes and takes the rain clouds away, and then they go to another part of the earth, and then the rain stops and the sun comes out, and it's shining now and it's bright outside. The wind did that. The wind took the clouds away, right? Just like the wind will take the clouds away. Read on.
So doth an angry countenance a backbiting tongue.
So when you check somebody that's murmuring, when you check somebody that don't know how to control their mouth, when you put them on blast, the Lord says that it's just like those clouds that took the rain away. That's what it's like. That's how you deal with it. All right? But the problem is when someone comes to you like that, you're comfortable with that, and they're comfortable with you. People come to me like that, I start to question myself. I'm like, man, why this person coming to me? Why they so comfortable talking greasy to me? Why they so comfortable doing that? You know, did you talk to that brother? Why are you telling me that? Did you tell him that? I think you should tell him that. Matter of fact, hey, say that again. Say what you just said. That's how you got to move. And then you do that, it's going to be a long time for that brother to say anything like that to you again. I can guarantee you. That's how you sisters got to move. But the problem is you don't have an angry countenance towards it. You welcome it. Tell me more. Mm-hmm. What happened? Yeah. Yeah, she did that to me too. Uh-oh. Now you meddling. And you're not going to be innocent. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. You've been bit. Vampire got you. All right? Now you defiled. That's all it takes. All right? From there, let's go back to James chapter 3. Read verse 2 again. We're going to read down.
Yes, sir. The book of James, chapter 3 and verse 2. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man.
So if any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man. Read on.
And able also to bridle the whole body.
So if you can control what you say, right, then you're able to control what you do. That's how that discipline works. Read on.
Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouths, that they may obey us.
Y'all know what a bit is, right? Is it big or small? Who don't know what a bit is? Raise your hand. You don't know what a bit is. A bit. All right, pull a bit up. A horse bit. Pull a bit up. Just Google it. Pull a picture of it up. Everything we're getting ready to read in verse 3 is very small. All right? It's very small. Scroll down. Scroll down. So, click that picture right there that they have in their hand. Yep. So, that's what goes in the horse's mouth. And then the rings on both sides, those be on the outside of the horse's mouth. That's what you tie the ropes to. But just that small bar that goes across, that's what the horse bites down on. That's what he bites down on. When you ride a horse, he bites down on that. And then you know how you got like reins for the horse? You know what I'm talking about? You sit on it, you hold the reins, you can pull it from side to side. That's what you're pulling. You're pulling the ring. So go to another picture. It's like similar to like a steering wheel. So you can control that whole bit. You see that? It got the straps tied to it. You can control a whole horse just from that little bit that's in his mouth. Horse is a big, strong animal, right? A big, strong animal. So you see the rope that's going to the back? It's one on each side. So you can pull them this way, pull them that way. That's how you control a horse, right? All right, you can put that down. Read verse 3 again.
Yes, sir. Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouths.
That's a bit. Read on.
That they may obey us.
And that's how we make them obey us. We control them by controlling that little bit. As long as we can control that little bit, we can control that big horse. Read on.
And we turn about their whole body.
And we can turn their whole body around. We can make the the horse go in circles. Read on.
Behold also the ships, which though they be so great, and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm.
Y'all know what a helm is? What's a helm? Stand up. What's your name?
Shalom, sir. Brother
Brothers,
Shemaiah.
brothers putting you on blast.
So the helm is going to be the rudder that controls the ship.
Y'all heard what he said? Sisters don't know what a rudder is. What's a rudder?
A rudder is small in comparison to the size of the ship, but it steers the direction of the ship.
It's small. Is it in the water?
Yes, sir.
Is it
in
towards the
water.
back?
It's in the back at the bottom of the towards the bottom of the ship. Yes, sir.
All right. So that's what a rudder is. That little teeny rudder that be on the bottom of the ship, right? That's a big ship. That's an aircraft carrier probably or something like that. That's a big ship. Yeah. That's a merchant ship, right? Yeah, that's a big ship. But compared to that big ship, that little rudder is small. It's small. So you use a little rudder to change the direction or the course of a ship in waters, rough waters, right? You just manipulate the rudder, and it's going to change the direction of a ship, right? Read on.
Whithersoever the governor listeth.
Whithersoever what?
Whithersoever the governor listeth.
Whithersoever the governor listeth. So guess what? That bit and that helm, what does it need? It needs someone to be in control of it. That's what it needs. It needs someone to be in control of it. Whithersoever the governor listeth. Verse 5.
Even so the tongue.
Even so the what?
Even so the tongue.
The tongue, just like the rudder and just like the helm, is very, very small. Just like the bit and just like the rudder or the helm is very small in comparison to the whole body. You understand what I'm saying? It's very small. Verse 5 again.
Even so the tongue is a little member.
It's a little teeny member. It's what?
A little member.
It's what?
A little member.
It's what?
A little member.
It's a little member. It's a little member. All right. So this class is going to focus on, or what it has been focusing on, is just the little member. That's what we're going to talk about. Because all of those things we watch, right? The MOD or the mod pizza altercation, that was a result of what? That little member. Controlling that little member is where you have the power of life and you have the power of death. Right? Read on.
And boasteth great things.
It does what?
Boasteth great things.
That little member boasteth great things. Go to Psalms chapter 139. Start at verse 13.
The book of Psalms, chapter 139 and verse 13. For thou hast possessed my reins. Thou hast covered me in my mother's womb.
Thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. Where is your tongue formed? It's formed in the womb, right? Along with the rest of your members, right? Your tongue is formed in the womb along with the rest of your members. Read on.
Verse 14. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelously are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well.
Read on.
My substance was not hid from thee.
Read on.
When I was made in secret.
When I was what?
When I was made in secret.
Read on.
And curiously, curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth.
Read on.
Thine eyes did see my substance.
Thine eyes did see my substance. Read on.
Yet being unperfect.
Yet being unperfect. It's talking about in the womb now. Read on.
And in thy book.
And in thy book.
All my members
all my what?
All my members.
All my what?
All my members.
Come on.
Were written, which in countenance,
continuance,
was fashioned,
were fashioned.
when as yet there was none of them.
So we have physical members being formed in the womb, and we have spiritual members being formed in the womb. All of these are being formed inside of the womb. All right. Go to James chapter 3, verse 6.
The book of James, chapter 3 and verse 6. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue.
So it says the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. Come on.
So is the tongue among our members.
So is the tongue amongst who?
Our members.
So is the tongue amongst our members. Read on.
That it defileth the whole body.
It does what to the body?
Defileth the whole body.
The tongue defiles the whole body. Read on.
And setteth on fire the course of nature.
It sets on fire the course of nature. Read on.
And it is set on fire of hell.
Colossians chapter 3. So remember what we read. So is the tongue amongst our members, that it defileth the whole body.
You want verse 5, sir?
Yeah, but let me flip to it. All right, go ahead.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 5. Mortify therefore your members,
So the Bible says, mortify your members. Read on.
which are upon the earth, fornication,
So these are members, y'all. Come on.
uncleanness,
Uncleanness. Come on.
inordinate affection,
Read on.
evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry.
Verse 6.
Verse 6. For which things' sake the wrath of God cometh on the children of disobedience,
Read on.
in the which ye also walked some time when ye lived in them. But now ye also put off all these:
So in addition to that, put off all of these. Read on.
anger,
Anger,
wrath,
wrath,
malice,
malice,
blasphemy,
blasphemy.
filthy communication.
What type of communication?
Filthy communication.
What type of communication?
Filthy communication.
Read on.
Out of your mouth.
Out of where?
Out of your mouth.
Out of your mouth. That's that little member right there. Right? That's that little member. From there, you can drop that. You can drop that. Go to James chapter 1. Because you remember it said mortify whose members? Your members. Can you mortify my members? Nah. Can I mortify your members? Nah. We can kind of help each other, hold each other accountable. You know why? The Bible's going to tell you. Read James chapter 1.
What verse, sir?
I want the one when a man is tempted.
Verse 13.
James chapter 1, verse
Tempted of God.
14.
Verse 14. James chapter 1 and verse 14. But every man is tempted
So every man is tempted, come on.
when he is drawn away of his own lust.
No, by everybody's lust.
Of his own lust.
That's why you got to mortify your members. You understand? Because you're drawn away by your own lust. You drawn away by your own lust. You know what your lust is? You know what it is? You got to mortify it. You got to cut it off. All right? From there, Mark chapter 7, verse 21. More members.
The book of Mark, chapter 7 and verse 21. For from within, out of the heart,
Out of the mind of man, come on.
of men, proceed evil thoughts,
Proceed evil thoughts,
adulteries,
adulteries,
fornications,
come on,
murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile the man.
They do what to the man?
Defile the man.
They do what to the man?
Defile the man.
They defile the man. Now, how many of these things can you do without your tongue? Very, very hard to commit a lot of these without using your tongue. Very hard to do that thing, right? Fornications, that's going to use your tongue. Adulteries, your tongue. Murders, right? Thefts. You gonna organize a robbery without speaking about it? You going to organize a robbery without speaking about it? But it's just a little member, though. It's just a little member. But it controls all of these? It's a little member, right? Verse 23.
Verse 23. All these evil things come from within and defile the man.
They defile you by your tongue. James chapter 3, verse 6.
The book of James. Chapter 3 and verse 6. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members.
So is the tongue amongst all of our members. Come on.
That it defileth.
Let it do what?
Defileth.
What does the tongue do?
Defileth the whole body.
It defiles the whole body. Y'all see that? Y'all tracking?
Yes, sir.
All right. Read on.
And setteth on fire the course of nature.
It sets on fire the course of nature. Read on.
And it is set on fire of hell.
Sirach chapter 17. So it's very important for us to control that little member. It's just a little member. Sirach chapter 17. Watch this. Verse 1.
The book of Sirach, chapter 17, and verse 1. The Lord created man of the earth and turned him into it again.
Read.
He gave them few days and a short time,
Read on.
and power also over the things therein.
Wait a minute. The Lord gave us what?
He gave them few days and a short time,
Uh-huh.
and power also over the things therein.
So he gave us power over the things therein. What type of power we got? Read on.
He endued them with strength by themselves, and made them according to his image, and put the fear of man upon all flesh.
He put the fear of man upon all flesh. Read on.
And gave him dominion.
Gave him what?
Dominion
Read on.
over beast and fowls.
So we got dominion over the earth, y'all. We got dominion over the whole earth. But it's still hard for us to control what? That little tongue. Just that little member. We got dominion over the whole world. But it's hard for us to control that tongue. Go to Genesis chapter 3. Start at verse 9.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, and verse 9.
Watch this.
And the Lord God called unto Adam.
Who did he call?
The Lord God called unto Adam.
Okay, he called unto Adam. Come on. He was Lord of all creatures, right?
Yes, sir.
He had dominion, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Read on.
And said unto him,
What did he say?
Where art thou?
He said, Where art thou, Adam? Come on.
And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden,
I heard thy voice in the garden. Come on.
and I was afraid, because I was naked,
Because he was in sin. Read on.
and I hid myself.
So he hid himself because he was ashamed. Read on.
And he said, Who told thee that thou was naked?
Y'all heard what he asked? Y'all heard what the Lord asked? What he asked? Who told you was naked? Read on.
Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee thou shouldest not eat?
Y'all understood that question? What's the appropriate response? What's the truth? Too many words. Too many words. Did you hear what he said the truth was? What's the truth?
Yes or no?
Yes. No. That's the truth. Read it again.
And he said, Who told thee that thou was naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee thou shouldest not eat?
Hold on, is that a hard question? What's the appropriate response to that question? Yes or no? The answer was what? Yes. Let's see what Adam said.
And the man said, the woman.
What did he say?
The woman.
He said what?
The woman.
He couldn't control that member. Y'all see that, right? He couldn't control that thing. He said the woman did what?
Whom thou gavest to be with me.
He said who gave it to him?
Whom thou gavest to be with me.
He made an excuse. He said, look, the woman that you gave to me. Read on.
She gave me of the tree.
She did what?
She gave me of the tree.
Come on.
And I did eat.
What's that called, y'all? Excuse. It's called an excuse. So Adam had dominion over the whole world, but he couldn't control that little member. Lord asked him a simple question. He couldn't say yes. You don't think the Lord's going to let him explain himself? I'm going to give y'all a tip, all right? That way you ain't got to learn it in the hot seat, all right? Because all of y'all, if you labor long enough, you're going to end up there, all right? You'll find out what it is later, all right? But if you end up in the hot seat and you're asked a question, or if you're around the hot seat and you're asked a question, learn from Adam. All right? What's the appropriate response? Yes or no. Yay or nay. Right? You don't think the Lord is going to give Adam a chance to say what he got to say? Yes. He is going to do that. All right? But when you're so focused on whatever your excuse is for why you did your evil, you ain't got time for that. You have no time for that. All right? You just worried about justifying your evil, justifying why you did what you did. All right? And that's the wrong spirit to have. You know what that shows? That you ain't learned nothing. And you have no what? No discipline. No what? No what else? No accountability. That shows you got no accountability at all. All right? So, from there, let's go back to James chapter 3. Verse 6.
The book of James, chapter 3 and verse 6. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature.
Read on.
And it is set on fire of hell.
Read.
For every kind of beast.
Every kind of beast. We read this in Sirach 17. Come on.
And of birds.
And of birds.
And of serpents.
And of serpents.
And of things in the sea.
Read.
Is tamed.
Is what?
Is tamed.
Is tamed. Right? That's why you got animals in a circus. But we can't control our tongues. But we can teach a lion how to walk on I've never been to the circus. What they walk on? What they walk on? They walk on a 2x4. You know what I'm saying? You take a lion out of the jungle. You know Esau did that. Take a lion out of the jungle, or out of the forest. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Captain Show. Take a lion out of the forest, right? Put him on a plank and make him walk on a 2x4. That's some wild stuff right there. But we can't control our little tongue, right? You make a bird, make a bird sing a song. Teach a bird how to sing a song. Right? Some birds can sing. They can talk and all of that. Right? Parakeets. But we can't control our tongue. We can teach them how to talk, but we can't control our tongue. Right? Read on.
Is tamed, and hath been tamed of mankind.
Read on.
But the tongue can no man tame.
Perfectly. The tongue can no man tame perfectly. That's why we read earlier that if you can control your tongue, you're a perfect man. If you cannot offend in word, you're a perfect man. You've arrived. You have your glorified body. Because that's what we will have. We won't offend in word no more when we get our glorified body. But right now, it's something that we have to get under better control. We got to get better and better at regulating it because it needs a governor. All right? Read on.
But the tongue can no man tame.
The tongue can no man tame. Read.
It is an unruly evil.
It's what?
An unruly evil.
It's an unruly evil. What verse was that?
Verse 8.
Read on.
full of deadly poison.
It's full of deadly poison. Now I'm a sidebar for a minute. If a person can't control their tongue, what else you think they can't control? In what way? Give me an example. Stand up. What's your name? I'm a sidebar real quick. If a person can't control their tongue, what else you think they can't control?
I could say, shalom.
Shalom.
Brother Daniel. I would say they can't control their household.
Okay, that's good. Household. I'm looking for something else, though.
Or as far as how they treat other people.
Okay. You're not wrong, but I'm looking for something else. I got a brother right here. I'm going to take him, and I'm going to give you the answer. If you don't have it, you might have it.
Shalom leadership.
Shalom.
I'm gonna say emotions.
Okay, what type of emotions? Be specific.
Physical emotions.
Okay, what type of physical emotions? Be specific. Over what? Physical emotions over what?
I don't know. I guess I was gonna go back to what you were saying earlier about physically emotion with a woman. Physical emotion with a female.
Okay. You started off strong. I'm just gonna give it to you. Go to Sirach, chapter 23. All right, y'all listen good. Just a sidebar. Sirach chapter 23, read verse 9.
The book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 23 and verse 9. Accustom not thy mouth to swearing, neither use thyself,
Read it again from the top.
Accustom not thy mouth.
Accustom not thy mouth, come on.
To swearing.
Meaning you must control what, brothers? Your tongue and your mouth, come on.
Neither use thyself to the naming of the Holy One.
Neither use thyself to the naming of the Holy One, all right? So, don't take the Lord's name in vain, all right? Have some respect, some reverence. Control what you say and how you say it, who you say it to. Control all of that by controlling your tongue. Now jump up to verse 7.
Verse 7. Hear, O ye children, the discipline of the mouth.
Hear the discipline of what?
Of the mouth.
Hear the discipline of the mouth. Come on.
He that keepeth it shall never be taken in his lips.
Read.
The sinner shall be left in his foolishness.
Now jump up to the verse above it, verse 6.
Verse 6. Let not the greediness of the belly, nor lust of the flesh take hold of me, and give not over me thy servant into an impudent mind.
Why I got food right there next to controlling your mouth? Let me ask you this. If a person can't control what comes out of their mouth, y'all know the rest of that? You think they're going to be able to control what goes in their mouth? If you can't control what comes out your mouth, you think you'll be able to control what goes in your mouth? No. You're not going to be able to. You're not going to have no discipline over that. Right? They're going to go hand in hand. All right? Go back to where you were. James chapter 3.
James chapter 3 and verse 8. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison.
Full of what?
Deadly poison.
Right? Read on.
Verse 9. Therewith bless we God.
What do we do with our tongue?
Bless we God.
We send prayers up to the Lord 3 times a day. I asked earlier if y'all sent y'all prayers up today. Everybody said, yep. I sent mine up. All praise to the Most High. All 3 times I sent my prayers up. Read on.
Therewith bless we God.
Therewith bless we God.
Even the Father.
Even the Father.
And therewith curse we men.
And with that same tongue, what do we do?
Curse we men.
What do we do?
Curse we men.
Come on.
Which are made after the similitude of God.
We do that with the same tongue. With the same tongue. How do we curse men? By losing patience with our brothers. Losing patience with our sisters. Losing patience with our spouse. Having strife with our spouse. Having strife with the brothers who is our only family we have now. Right? Not being able to endeavor to keep the unity together. Right? These are all different ways how we curse men. Right? What's Deuteronomy 28 say? About being cursed. Say it again. Yeah, but what curse? What's a specific curse in there that you can think of? How we curse each other in Deuteronomy chapter 28. Stand up. What's your name? All right. What you got?
We curse each other. Dang.
Somebody else got something?
I'm trying to think of it.
Shalom, sir.
Uh-huh.
I'll be evil towards our brothers.
That's it right there. Your eye being evil towards your brother. Now we know that's going into the siege and how we had to eat our children. Right. Yeah, that's good too, right? Right. That's good too. Because today, many of our sisters kill their babies. Then we was killing them and eating them. Right? So, that's good. That's what I was thinking of. So, all praise to the Most High. Read that again, where you were.
James chapter 3 and verse 9. Therewith bless we God, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of God.
Right. We curse men and we curse women. Right. Husbands and wives, strives in the household, bickering, fighting, devouring one another, biting each other. Right. That's not becoming of a godly household. That's not the example to bring forth strong children. You're going to have weak children until you change. That's what's going to happen. Your children are going to be weak until they become strong. And the only way for you to make them strong is for you to change how you deal in front of them. That's the only way. That's the only way to that. Otherwise, they're going to be messed up. All right? So that should put some fear in all of us to say, you know what? Let me push my emotions aside. Let me push my emotions aside. It's more involved here than just how I feel right now. I'm not going to burn the whole house down because I'm mad at how the food turned out. I'm mad at how the clothes look, or how the laundry is, or how what was left out. Sisters get mad because dirty clothes on the floor. Brother Ty come home, put his clothes on the floor. He ain't put them in the laundry basket. It was close. He almost made it in there. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't make it all the way. Yeah? Sister's mad. You know what I'm saying? You about to burn the whole house down because of that. Bring it out. You'll start an argument because of that. Just pick them up, put them in the basket. You know what I'm saying? So these are things we got to consider when we talking about children, bringing up children, right? Was that it? Where you at?
Verse 10.
Read on.
Out of the same mouth proceedeth blessing and cursing.
Out of the same mouth proceedeth what?
Blessing and cursing.
Proceedeth blessing and cursing. Read on.
My brethren, these things ought not so to be.
Read on.
Doth a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter?
So from one fountain, can you get sweet water and bitter water? Nah, the water's either going to be good for you to drink or it's not. Right? It's going to be palatable or it's not. Potable or it's not. Right? It's no either or. It's not one way. If you drink from it on this side, then it's good. But you go on the other, it don't work like that. It's it's coming out of one spout, and the water's going to be good or the water's going to be bitter. That's how that works. If you want to change the water, you got to change the source. That's the only way. That's the only way you can get clean water. All right? Read on.
Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries?
Can you take a fig tree and make olive berries from it? Nah. The fig tree is only going to do what? Produce figs. It's only going to produce figs. I'm not talking about what Esau doing today. That's witchcraft. But a fig tree is only going to produce figs. An apple tree is only going to produce apples. All right? A grapevine is going to yield grapes. Blueberry vine is going to yield blueberries. Cranberries, cranberries. Strawberries, strawberries. There's no mixing of anything. You can't plant a seed and get 5 different fruits to grow from it. It doesn't work like that. Read on.
Either a vine, figs, so can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh.
You're going to get salt water, you're going to get fresh water. You go fishing, you can't do both. All right? I ain't talking about brackish water, right? Because when you look, it always stays separate on a map. You're going to have salt water, you're going to have fresh water, right? That's just how the Lord created things. He didn't create things to be all mixed together like that. It's separation and division between everything. Good is always against evil. That's how the Bible is from beginning to the end. All right? What verse was that?
That was verse 12, sir.
That was the end of it?
Yes, sir.
All right. From there, get Matthew chapter 12, verse 34. This is on that same note.
The book of Matthew, chapter 12 and verse 34. O generation of vipers, how can ye, being evil, speak good things?
How can ye, being evil, speak good things? Read on.
For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
So from out of your mind comes your words. Comes what you say. All right? It comes hatred. All right? Comes love. Comes peace. Comes strife. Comes envy. All right? Or it becomes agreement. That's what comes out of your mind. All right? If that's in your mind, then that's what's going to come out of your mouth. Read on.
A good man out of the good treasure of the heart bringeth forth
out of the mind, a good man out of the good treasure of the mind. Come on.
Bringeth forth good things.
He brings forth good things, righteous things, holy things, peaceable things. Come on.
And an evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things.
You're not going to get both. Right? You're going to have a pleasant, you're going to be able to control your tongue, control what you say, control how you respond, control your anger, your strife, control your murmuring. You can be able to control your backbiting, your tail bearing. You can be able to control all of that, or you're not. Right? But it starts where? In your mind. You're never going to be able to get a grip on those things if you're not changing your mind. All right? So right now we're kind of dealing with the effects of not controlling your mind. But in order to change the effects, you have to start where? You got to start in your mind, renewing your mind, right? Was that it?
Oh, verse 35, yes, sir.
Read verse 36.
Verse 36. But I say unto you that every idle word
Because we're talking about things that we say, things that we speak. Every idle word, come on.
that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment.
So this should make you consider the type of communication you're having with the brothers and sisters that you call family. Should make you consider that. This should make you consider what you're saying to the woman that you call your wife. Wow. This should make you consider to the man you call your husband. Right? Or your children, your son, your daughter. The things that we speak, we can speak life or we can speak death to our family. And you're going to get what you put in. Read that in Proverbs 18 again. This is what you're going to get.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
You're going to get death or life from the things that you say. Come on.
And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
You're going to eat the fruit of it thereof. What's the it? The death or the life. Whatever it is you choose to speak. To the brothers and sisters you got around you. All right? From there, let's go to Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 4 and verse 29. let not corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth,
So corrupt communication, that would be what? What's corrupt communication? Read the rest of it.
but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers.
All right, read it again from the top.
Let not corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth.
What type of communication?
Corrupt communication.
What's the corrupt communication? Not speaking the laws. What else? What's another way to call it? Is it spiritual? Is that spiritual conversation? Read that part again.
Let not corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth.
Is that spiritual conversation? The corrupt communication? That's carnal conversation, right? So don't let the carnal things come out of your mouth. Come on.
But that which is good
That which is good is full of grace and mercy. Read on.
to the use of edifying.
That which is to the use of edifying is not thinking evil of your neighbor, not having an evil eye towards your neighbor, right? That's spiritual. It takes a lot of discipline to do that. Read on.
That it may minister grace unto the hearers.
That it may minister what?
Grace unto the hearers.
That it may minister grace unto the hearers. All right. From there, let's go to Sirach chapter 28, verse 25.
The book of Sirach, chapter 28 and verse 25.
Come on.
And weigh thy words in a balance, and make a door and a bar for thy mouth.
So this is what we all need to be doing. All right. That means you're considering what you're saying. You're thinking before you speak. Read on.
Beware thou slide not by it, lest thou
Read that part again.
beware thou slide not by it, lest thou fall before him that lieth in wait.
For somebody always lying in wait for you. Y'all know that, right? Y'all know what that means? Somebody looking to catch you up in your words. So you need to think before you speak. Because if you know, once you say something, you can't take it back. Once you say something, once you destroy somebody, once you say some evil stuff, that's really for the sisters. Because sisters, y'all be saying stuff y'all don't mean. But brothers say stuff they mean. You just don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Sisters will say some stuff that they don't mean, right? But guess what? Once it's out there, sister, you can't take it back. You can't pull it back. That man going to remember that forever. Forever, ever. Ain't it right, brothers?
Bring it out.
All right. Drop that. Go to James chapter 3. Let's finish that up. Where we at? Verse 13?
Yes, sir.
All right, read that. 5 minutes.
The book of James, chapter 3 and verse 13. Who is a wise man and endowed with knowledge among you? Let him show out a good conversation.
Let them show out what?
A good conversation.
Let them show out a good conversation. Meaning what? To think before you speak. Right? Read on.
His works with meekness of wisdom.
Read.
But if ye have bitter envy and strife in your hearts,
If you have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, come on.
glory not.
What's it mean to glory in bitter envying and strife? How would someone glory in that? How would someone glory in bitter envying and strife? I'm going to give y'all a visual. Y'all ever seen the Basketball Wives? And the Preacher Wives? And all the other wives TV shows they got? It's TV shows called this, where you got sisters that's just very disrespectful, doing real, dressing very promiscuous, with no fear, with no reverence for any man. All right? And they worship like an idol. And they glory in disrespect and strife. They fighting all the time, cat fights, all that type of stuff going on. All right? That's a visual picture of what it looks like to glory in envying and strife. Read on.
And lie not against the truth.
Read.
This wisdom descendeth not from above,
Atlanta Housewives, come on.
but is earthly.
If it don't come from above, then where does it come from?
Beneath.
Satan. It comes from Satan. That's where these TV shows and the media, that's where all that came from. the director, the spirit that he had to put this together and to choose the Israelites. All right. Don't nobody else got these shows. Y'all know that, right? Atlanta Housewives is black people. Right? Read on.
This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish.
Maybe I'm wrong. Is it not black people? I ain't never watched the show before. Is it black people? It's black people. Oh! All right. Every commercial I done seen with them is black people. All right. Read on.
Verse 16. For where envying and strife is, there is confusion.
There's what?
Confusion.
There's confusion. Come on.
And every evil work.
And every evil work. Read.
But the wisdom that is from above is first pure.
It's what?
First pure.
The wisdom from above is pure. Come on.
Then peaceable.
Then peaceable. Read on.
Gentle and easy to be entreated.
That means it's easy to talk to. Come on.
Full of mercy.
Full of mercy.
And good fruits.
Good fruits.
Without partiality.
Without partiality.
And without hypocrisy.
And without hypocrisy. All right. That's not being many masters. You remember we read earlier the greater condemnation? That's why we can't be hypocrites. All right. Give you one example. Go to 1 Samuel chapter 16. Got to read fast. We got 1 minute. 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 4 through 5.
The book of 1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 4.
Come on.
And Samuel did that which the Lord spake.
Right. Samuel was a mighty man. All right. And he didn't lack judgment. He wasn't afraid of judgment. All right. He was a man of greatly to be feared. Read on.
And came to Bethlehem. And the elders of the town trembled at his coming.
They did what?
Trembled.
They feared him. They trembled when he entered into town. We're talking about Samuel. This is a mighty man of the Lord. Come on.
And the elders of the town trembled at his coming.
Read.
And said, comest thou peaceably?
They asked, are you coming peaceably? Read on.
And he said,
What did he say?
peaceably.
He said peaceably. That was a man of peace too. But he was feared and reverenced because they knew when Samuel came into town, somebody might be getting put to death because the law was going to be executed and judgment was going forth. He was a man of that, known for that. That's how we got to be. You always laughing, joking, playing around. Congregation's not going to take you serious. No one's going to take you serious. Your wife not going to take you serious. Children not going to take you serious. Nobody's going to take you. You're going to be a joke, right? Can't be smiling all the time, laughing all the time. All right? I'm not saying you can't joke, can't have a good time. All right? But you can't show yourself cheerful all the time towards your children either. All right? Can't be playing. The children are going to disrespect you when they get older. That's what's going to happen. I've seen it happen. That's what's going to happen. They can't be your friends. Your daughters can't be your friends. That's not how that works. All right? Can't be your best friend. None of that's not how that works. Father got to be a father. Mother got to be a mother. That's the dynamic. All right? Samuel was a father to the nation, and they feared him. That's the fear that our children got to have for us. Right? That's the fear that the woman, just in general, needs to have for the man. That's how that looks. Right? All men. Because the men are gods on the earth. All of them. And they all need to be reverenced that way. That's how we set the whole nation back in order. All right? Was that it on verse 17?
We didn't read verse 17. Oh, yeah, that was it. That was it. Yep.
That was verse 17?
Yes, sir, that was it.
All right. Go back to where you were. James.
The book of James, chapter 3 and verse 18.
Come on.
And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace.
The fruit of righteousness is sown in them that make peace. How you going to make peace, brothers? How you going to make peace? Brother with the purple shirt on. Give him a microphone. Stand up. What's your name? How we going to make peace, brother?
Shalom leadership.
Shalom.
Guarding that tongue.
By guarding your tongue, setting a bar in your mouth, thinking before you speak, not just saying things that you don't mean. All right? Not murmuring, not backbiting, not doing any of those types of things. That's going to cause confusion in the body. All right? So that's Monday night meditations for tonight. All right? So all praises to the Most High. Lord, boy, y'all was edified. Give you something to meditate on through the week. All right. Practice controlling your tongue this week. Practice doing that. Practice your speech, what you say, how you respond. All right. How you exhort. All right. How you encourage, how you edify. Practice those things this week. All those things come from your mouth, and you're in control of it. All right. So control your body by first starting to control your lips and your tongue. All right. Shalom, family. Most High Christ bless.
What is a nation?
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brother, destroy